and welcome to the Entertainment Vortex. Today we were at Bryan theaters watching The Upside. I was kind of looking forward to this and kind of dreading this movie. When you watch the trailer, there's aspects of it that are very interesting. You've obviously got Bryan Cranston, you've got Kevin Hart, which are amazing actors, and you're bringing them together into this kind of feel-good, touchy-feely concept. I didn't realize going into this movie this is actually a remake of a foreign film that is very well loved. With that being said, I was a little scared about this movie. I was thinking that it was going to miss the mark. I was thinking that, especially with it coming out in January, which we all know, if it comes out in theaters in January, chances are that was just them throwing it in a spot that no one cared about. But I will say I was pleasantly surprised. This movie by no means is perfect. There are some issues with this movie, especially with how it is Act 1 and partially Act 2 heavy, so they don't spend enough time on Act 3, which I think is where they needed to. I also feel that there was a lot of insertion of Kevin Hart's humor, which I like Kevin Hart's humor if it's in the right place. A lot of the fish out of water, a lot of the wacky stuff happens in this movie, but it didn't really need to. You had enough natural humor just with what's going on with him learning how to take care of Bryan Cranston's character and really being in the situation he was in. You didn't really have to add these artificial secondary comedic points. Because of that, those take away from some of the character-driven stuff that could have happened at the end of the second act and into the third act. It almost feels like you slow burn up to the middle of the second act, and then they hit the gas and you're going 80 miles per hour till the end. I don't think they needed to do that. With that being said, though, the one thing I'm not surprised in this movie is the performances. Bryan Cranston knocked it out of the park. That's a very hard role to play. It's a very layered role. Someone that is having, it's a very layered character. You have the idea that, of course, he is disabled, as you see in the trailer. The idea that he is lashing out at the world, that he is fighting back kind of rebelliously to the people around him, trying to come to grips with what his life is now going forward, having trouble letting go of the past. You get all of that in the trailer. You know exactly what you're going into with this movie. You know where Kevin Hart comes into play. They did a good job in the trailer of giving you that idea, but you don't really understand the connection that's going to happen between them, and that is a strong point of this movie. And I think they needed to spend more time on that. The comedic moments where you have Kevin Hart on his own, like I said earlier, they weren't necessary. Give me more moments of them together. It's kind of a weird buddy movie where the humor and the attachment you get to these characters has to do with the two of them learning and growing together. And when you have them separated, you're literally watching half the movie and it just doesn't work. So the pros of this movie, like I said, excellent acting, very well casted. The story is interesting, based off a true story. I would love to see the original one. I hear it's a masterpiece. Apparently it's a foreign film, French, I believe. Cons of this movie are definitely that it is front heavy. They put way too much time in the first and the beginning of the second act and nowhere near enough time in the end. They rush through the end way too fast, and it's like, I waited this long for you just to give me a taste and run away. The movie actually feels like it ends pretty abruptly. I wanted to see more of that. And then the other con would be I didn't need to see some of the traditional Kevin Hart humor. There's parts of his humor that you get in the context of what he's doing. There are some medical scenes and stuff like that where he is learning to do stuff with Bryan Cranston that are hilarious. But the stuff with the shower that you see in the trailer and all of that, it just isn't necessary. They also, at some points in the movie, just assume that the audience is an idiot. They continually show you something over and over and over again in like 3 or 4 different scenes, as if you didn't catch it in the first scene. I'm not sure why they did that either. That time could have been better spent elsewhere. So overall, I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. It's a good movie. I'm glad I watched it. I enjoyed it. It's definitely not a great movie, though. I feel that, especially with the actors involved, the pedigree that they have, it could have been a great movie. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We give you multiple videos every single week. And we have t-shirts available if you're interested in those as well. Those are available down in the description below. We hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.